What's going on, guys? I am the alternate, and today I really enjoyed my Hershey Park trip, so I decided to make a top 9 coasters at Hershey Park video. Now, I only figured I should do 9 of them, or there are only 9 of them that I did, so I'm just going to rearrange all of them. I'm sorry I didn't get a 10th one. I'm also not going to lie and say I did a 10th one when I didn't. But yeah, here's the top 9 coasters, in my opinion, at Hershey Park. At the number 9 spot is going to be Super Duper Looper. There was just, the loop was fun, and then, I don't know why it's called a Super Duper Looper when there's only one. There's just nothing, fantastic about it. I did enjoy the ride, but, there was just nothing really exciting about it. So that's why it's only at the number 9 spot. Coming in at the number 8 spot is going to be Lightning from Lightning Racer. I'm not just going to do it in one. Since it's 2 credits, I'm just going to do it separate. There's really no reason why one is ahead of the other. But probably... there's no reason. I'm just gonna talk about Lightning Racer as a whole. It is, I'm gonna make probably a separate video about it, but it's the coolest racing ride out there. I found it to, be sort of rough. As a matter of fact, I said it was a racing mean streak, which is probably gonna trigger a lot of people. But I just didn't think it was that smooth. For an old GCI, it's definitely a great ride. It's cool to not be right next to the people. It's cool to how you cross past each other, which is I thought was very cool. Thunder. It's probably ahead because I just had a better experience on it. I got to marathon it. I'm just going to make a video about why Hershey Park is so good too, but I just had a better experience on Thunder. Overall, there's really no reason, though, why one is ahead of the other. Coming ahead of the 2 Lightning Racers is going to be Wildcat, which, I thought was really good. I got off Wildcat. I called my friend. He said, Wildcat feels like an old GCI, but Lightning Racer feels like a CCI. And that's because Wildcat was a little rougher. I can definitely tell, I can feel that, but I did get some airtime on that, and I did ride that front row, so I had a better experience. It is rougher than Lightning Racer, I'm going to admit it, but it felt more like a GCI. I did get more airtime on it, and I definitely, I just had a more enjoyable experience on Wildcat. So coming in at the number 5 spot is actually going to be Comet. Maybe it's because I waited in a long line for this, but not a really long line for it, but one of the longer lines of the day, and maybe that's what made this ride so good. But I just really enjoyed this ride. I don't know why. It's just I thought it was unique for some reason. It's just it's just a normal small wooden roller coaster, but for some reason I enjoyed it, and I thought it was smoother and more enjoyable than the others, which is why I put it above the other ones. This is probably going to make a lot of people upset, and I can't wait to get hated on in the comments, but that's just my opinion. I just put it above the other 2 wooden coasters, so let's just move into number 4 before I get in more trouble. Coming at the number 4 spot, which, a lot of people can probably guess all the rides that are going to come up next. But I put Great Bear at the number 4 spot. Now, there's nothing great about it, but there's nothing wrong with it either. I didn't feel a rattle or anything. And, if there's a rattle, I would tell you. But there wasn't one. So, there's just nothing great about it. The pre-drop was pretty cool. And in the back, I actually got some airtime on that drop. But, it's just a standard B&M invert. Nothing exciting for it, but nothing wrong for it. I loved it. It just felt like they gave up after the whole inversion scene over the water. There's that's enough. Let's just turn back into the station. So let's get into the top 3. Now coming at the number 3 spot, I'm getting a lot of hate for this, but if you haven't ridden it this year, don't talk to me. But it's Dyke Rush or Sky Rush. I thought the thigh crushing was that's just extreme airtime. If I had to say what it feels like, it's almost like Magnum. I'm just gonna be straight up honest. The thigh crushing is just like Magnum, but in the right rows, it's the best airtime I've ever had, other than El Toro. But it's still great airtime. But the restraints just are garbage, and I didn't get locking up, but you can definitely you feel your thighs crushing. My mom blacked out on the first turn, which, I think that says a lot about the ride, and for some reason, because they probably wanted to laugh, they put the camera right there. But I thought, it still is a great ride. You heard Thrill Central say it was rough, and I'm going to comment on if a ride is rough. And it is. It really is, and it was really surprising. So I'm going to describe the route to you guys, I guess, is we went over the first hill, and we're going into the drop, and then the drop's at its max steepness, but it's it just got steeper all of a sudden, and that's when we slam into the turn, and that's the roughness. It feels like it's just a wheel gap. The wheel gap is too wide, and at some points you'll just switch, what wheel you're. It's really hard to describe. It's not a typical rattle. It's not a Millennium rattle, and it's not a Gatekeeper rattle. It's one of the worst rattles I've been on, but it's just really hard to describe unless you've been on it this year. And you know, I still love the ride. It's great airtime. But I mean, that's all I'm gonna say about. I'm already getting hate, so let's just move on to number 2. Coming at the number 2 spot is a ride that I overhyped for myself, and it really lived up to it, and that's Fahrenheit. I got off this thinking, is this better than Maverick? I know I'm crazy, but I enjoyed Fahrenheit. I really did. I thought the vertical lift was very cool, and then that into a straight down drop was really, really cool. The sad part is you can't pick your row. Luckily for me, I got a back row on it, and I was so happy. And it did have a slight rattle on the back row, but you know, it didn't take away from the ride. I thought it was very enjoyable. That ejector hill is very strong. Too bad there's only one, but I liked it. The Cobra roll, there's nothing wrong with it like most Cobra rolls. And you know, it's just a very cool ride. You know, I shot multiple shots of this because I just think it's a very cool ride. It's even my phone wallpaper. So I just think this is a very cool ride. It is at my number 2 spot, but you already know what's at number 1. You should have seen this coming. You know I like hydraulic launches. So it's going to be Storm Runner. I mean, this hydraulic launch is standard, really. Once you've gone on one hydraulic launch, you might well say you've gone on all of them. I've done Dragster, King of the Ka, now Storm Runner. They're all great, really. Like, it's just great. But Storm Runner, you know, has those couple elements after that just make it fun. And, you know, this might be my number 1 ride. I mean, I just got on top of Dragster like 5 or 6 days ago. So, I don't know, I've been thinking. But Storm Runner, I definitely love this ride. It definitely deserves number 1. I was arguing between this and Fahrenheit, actually. I think it's a very close battle. But yeah, this is going to be my number 1 ride at HersheyPark. So if I haven't triggered you too much and you haven't disliked the video, thank you for making it to the end. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video.